Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Healing Wednesdays, a Circle of 12. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monica Morani.
She's always Monica Morani.
I am, and you're always Lee.
we always start it that way. Well, we're back. Happy Wednesday, October 19th. Every Wednesday evening of the year, we come together with special guests every Wednesday. And we have questions and answers. We have discussions. We have, of course, meditations and Kryon channeling.
So when's the last time you looked at your portal? And the reason I am saying that is because often when you watch this live stream happening and you're watching the chat, you might not know that you have this amazing portal where you can go in and find the latest replay. You can find the special music that we've done for different programs, or even the Healing Wednesday music that we use when we cross that bridge into the Circle of 12. There is also a place where you can submit a question. We're going to get to that a little bit later on in the show. And there is also something which is just so beautiful as it's unfolding. It's a special place for prayer requests and testimonies where you can send us about your miracle moment. It is the miracle moment section, and there's so much more.
Well, we often review the chat logs for this show, and I've told you this before, we really do. We see what you're saying to one another, and that's really fun. We also appreciate so much the comments that you've had about how you enjoy the show or how you've liked the channel and all these things. It's a great record for us. But we also see sometimes there are issues with no sound. How do I do this? How do I do that? Refreshing is not working. And for those of you where that maybe continues to happen, well, first of all, let's talk about when it happens for new members. You're just getting used to the interface, perhaps, and this is for you too. If it's on our end, if there's a problem on our end, we'll always tell you right away. We're in touch with the chat angels, what I call them, as the guides there that help you. And we're always carefully monitoring the quality of the stream. We can see what's going on. However, what I really want to tell you is I designed this. Believe it or not, I did it. 15 minutes before we start this program, we are playing a sound and video for you to test everything before we start. What a concept. And the chat team is there too, and it'll help you. So we have video and audio playing 15 minutes before. And remember, all these programs, if you have a problem, are perfect replays forever as long as you are a member. Monica and I have been working on something now for months. And this is now the second month that we're going to tell you all about it. Now, you might have heard this before, and if you have, please listen again, because it's really going to be something very, very special. We're starting a Kryon online school to teach many of the things that we used to feature during our weekly conferences all over the world, which we're no longer giving. And in addition, we're actually able to go even deeper in this Kryon school on some of the more profound esoteric concepts that were impossible for a seminar.
And since 2020, the way that Lee presents the Kryon work has completely changed. Instead of traveling every single weekend to live events and then going overseas to present as well in places like Europe, South America, Australia, synchronicity led to the creation of the Kryon studio. And I must say, I haven't seen Lee happier. He just loves it. Healing Wednesday is possible because of this new normal that's created the Kryon studio. However, there's so many Kryon subjects that Lee just stopped teaching because of the way that we have changed our life now. We're not traveling, we're in the studio. But now, because we're here, we have this amazing opportunity to continue these teachings online. And in fact, we can develop them to an incredibly in-depth level and deliver them to you in a more intimate way that would not have been possible during our live weekend seminars. We're calling the school the Chrysalis Academy, named for that well-known transformation of a caterpillar to a butterfly.
This very first course that Monica and I are going to do in the Chrysalis Academy is about the core spiritual truths as taught to us by those who gave us our spiritual DNA. On the big island of Hawaii in 2017, Kryon revealed how the grand truths of God were taught in ancient Lemuria. I have been waiting 5 years or more now to teach this subject in a way that I knew it was meant to be taught. And finally, the syllabus is pouring into my life for the construction and the teaching of this information. Some of you may have already heard of it. It's called the Lemurian Teaching Wheel. This is something we have endeavored to teach a few times in special conferences in the past years, but Kryon never gave me any added information beyond that was given in 2017 event that we had in Hawaii. I knew there was more. There just had to be more. In those lessons, there's a great deal of information about core spiritual truth. The lessons that we're going to give you now, even grander than anything that was given to me in Hawaii in 2017, and the concepts of how they were taught. These are beautiful truths that I wished I had learned in church, or at least had been offered when I was younger by some wiser adult. Now, in order to correctly convey all of this information in the most loving way possible, it's going to take over 40 lessons to teach it.
So together, Lee and I will transport you back to Lemuria. We'll take you on a journey within the various spokes and concepts of the wheel, just as the children and young adults learned it as they sat at the feet of the Star Mother. The Lemurian children and young adults studied the elements and concepts of the wheel for a period of around 12 years. It gave them this advanced conceptual awareness of their multidimensional nature. Without question, they knew they were part of the Creator, and therefore they knew they were eternal. Through Lee's new information from Kryon, you'll be privy to the conversations that occurred between the Star Mothers and their students. These teachers from the stars used incredible, masterful psychology to help the young students understand very high spiritual concepts and be taught the magnificence of their existence. The Lemurian Teaching Wheel Masterclass series will be offered soon, and because you're a member of the Circle of 12, Lee and I wanted you to be the ones who will know about it first when we're ready.
Well, with the additional information coming from Kryon, my feeling is that this particular course series will actually go down as, one of the best that we've ever done. For me, it's like writing a new book. That's just about how it feels. Monica and I are going to repeat this new information about this new online Kryon school probably a few more times on our upcoming Healing Wednesday broadcast. So just get used to that. We wanted all of you to know about it, not just the ones in tonight's chat.
So we'd like to now move to the questions part of our program. Earlier I mentioned that you can do that in your portal. That's where you can submit a question. And the guidelines are very simple. Ask a question others may be interested in. Don't ask those personal questions because Lee and I, we're not therapists. We can only share what Kryon gives us through the wisdom and teachings of the channels, and make those questions concise and short. Okay, so let's go to a question. It comes from Maria. Maria is in Santiago in Chile. I understand we are magnificent and eternal, and I try to shine my light as much as I can. But why is it that whenever I know that someone close to me is suffering or has serious health issues, I feel that my energy is drained immediately? I understand there are reasons for others to suffer or face problems. However, I can't stop thinking about them. Could Kryon give me some insight?
I think Kryon already has, but Maria, thanks for the question. And we're going to get to what Kryon has said, but mostly even what others have said that on this program. You're not alone in this. Many of us are very touched by the trials of others, and some of us are. I would say, as you're a light worker, and you've said, and I know you are empathic. Many of us are, but there is more. I think you personally relate to others in trouble, and it affects you. I understand that, and you're not alone in this empathy that you would have. So here's where I put on my Healing Wednesday hat and mention that we have had some wonderful guests on this show who actually specialize in this issue, the very one that you're asking about right now, and that I know others have had. On the replays, check out Dr. Emil Faith, way back in September 23rd, 2020. Now, I'm going to put that on the screen. I'm going to hold it there for you so that you can write it down if you wish to, or you can then review this program in replays. Don't we love the way we can go back instantly and replay programs that are almost 100 episodes ago? This was always my dream, that the library would be used in this way, and thanks to Monica and her archiving of everything and everything that happened, that has made it possible. Also, I'd love you to check out Dr. Karen Kahn, who was with us in December 22nd, 2021. Her mission was to empower sensitive people. That's you, Maria. I can put that on the screen as well. So there's 2 of them for you to check out. Kryon has always told us that compassionate action is the answer to those who are ultra-sensitive. That means taking our sensitive sadness away, if you want to call it that, by immediately turning it into action. We pray, we send them energy for their situation, and this transmutes the sadness that we have and turns it into us doing something. That really is the key. But I encourage you and anyone else who is having this kind of reaction to the troubles of others to listen to the great solutions from these 2 past guests of Healing Wednesday. They transmute sadness to action, and know that you are helping, and it helps you to know, and everyone to know. You're not just sitting there being sorry about what they're going through.
Beautiful answer. I love that compassionate action part where we can think about those in trouble and then shift that by sending them energy. And guess what? You're included, so send yourself some energy too. I'd like to do another question, and this is Gloriana from Florida in the US. She is asking, what keeps us from believing in our own healing powers?
Gloriana, I want to jump up and down on my chair. Where should I start? This has always been my soapbox, and why so many former friends have even left me over the years. You know, we were actually told and trained as a culture, at least I was, and a society, that healing ourselves is not possible. You don't do that. There's others who can for you, and that's what you're supposed to do. How many in school or in church or even in your family gave you the information that consciousness is incredible energy and can be used to heal ourselves? You know? How many reminded you that we're actually built to self-regenerate on a regular basis and live a very, very long time? Or perhaps this one, in case of an accident or major surgery that you have, or because of something that's happened, we could speed our recovery, maybe by half, by processing ourselves instead of months of pills from the pharma industry. I can remember the glazed look from my friends, my former friends, when I told them that I believed my own consciousness could even change my path, and that luck had nothing to do with it, and there were no accidents. Well, that was then, and this is now. This is what we believe. As a society, as a culture, it's almost blasphemous to say these things because they've always been relegated to God or doctors and not humans. Guest after guest on this show, all have been telling us what I just told you. Physicians, lots of them, PhDs, physician's assistants, nurses, have come on this show to let us know we are more powerful than anyone ever told us. Then we discovered that there actually may be an agenda by those who don't want us to know. Now, that's another story, folks, but it's true. I want to let everybody know something. There is a bigger truth. It's not a conspiratorial truth. It is a sacred, beautiful, loving truth about our Creator and our consciousness, bigger than anything you've ever been told. That's why I sit here and do this, folks. Many of you know that Monica and I are in the process of presenting the Lemurian Teaching Wheel. We've gone through that, these lessons with you. We've talked about it in this very program. It's called the Chrysalis Academy. That's the name of the school. When Kryon started giving me information on what the children were actually taught about God and the relationship to the creative source, I cried with joy. And part of me said, what happened? That we never got this. It makes so much sense. We're practicing it. It's true. This is why we're working on these lessons so much and so hard. It's really amazing information that was given back then, very loving and empowering for all. It started with the children. I get emotional about this subject, Gloriana. I want parents listening, all of them, to encourage their children that they are empowered. Their children, they're empowered to do anything on this planet as they age and grow older, regardless of anything they're told by anyone. Perhaps together we can start a greater awareness of who we are and the real relationship we have to Gaia and the creative source of the universe.
I love that phrase of creating a greater awareness. And I think I'd like to use that as we move into a meditation And so I invite you to close your eyes and soften your face, soften your shoulders, arms and hands, soften your abdomen, your chest, your back, legs, knees, calves and feet. Let your body in entirety just soften and be in this moment of receptivity to a loving force that exists within you and around you at the same time. And let us ask a question or a statement. Dear Spirit, show me my magnificence. Bring me greater awareness. Bring me greater awareness. And so with that intent, you've already sent it out, giving permission for the entourage to now enter your life and show you your own magnificence and bring you greater awareness. And with that greater awareness, we now are ready to receive some more awareness from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. Once again, we come to you in all love, appreciation, joy, for those who would listen to this, for those who care enough, perhaps, about themselves, others around them, what's happening on the planet. And we often give the kinds of channels that perhaps are planetary channels, is what is going on the world and the cycles and all that. But today, it's personal. This is about you. This is about the society you live in, about you. And I'm going to call this particular channel the 2 rooms. I'm going to give 3 scenarios of 2 rooms. The scenario is a metaphor, always, and you'll see that quickly. And the 2-room scenario will given 3 times, as I say. The first one will be what you're taught today about the 2 rooms. The next one is the discovery that many are making about the 2 rooms. And the third scenario, the truth about the 2 rooms. Let's discuss what the rooms are. The metaphor goes like this. Room 1 is you. As you sit there, your name goes here. And it's your reality, how you feel, all of the senses that go into what is going on right now. It's an easy one. Room 2 actually could be next to you or could be within you. Now, we put them side by side because that's the way you're taught they are. The second room is your body. What is going on? Now, the reason we separate them is this, because you really don't know what's going on. You have that which is a way to tell with the senses in room 1. How much does it hurt? What does it sound like? What's going on? But room 2 kind of works by itself, if you noticed. Your heart keeps on beating. All of that which is your organs, they keep on doing whatever they do, whatever their specialist is, they continue doing it. So here is what you're taught between room 1, you, and room 2, your body. The teaching of today is that this is a firm and complete disconnect. You don't know what's going on, therefore, you have those who do. This is not an indictment of those who do. The doctors that you have, very, very important for you to have. Dear ones, they are the ones who have studied that which is you internally, the second room. They know so much about it. But you're taught in your culture that they're the only ones who do. Therefore, they're the ones you go to. And they will then tell you what to do about your room. And this is where the prescriptions are assigned. And this is where the operations occur. In order for you to correct those things which you feel are wrong with your second room. If you understand where I'm going, these three scenarios I'm going to give you, this is the first. This is the way you are taught from birth. And there would be many of you, perhaps listening right now, who are not aware of the Kryon channeling or even of what I talk about, who would say, well, this is good because we have the wonderful doctors and they can take care of room 2. Now, if you've listened to this program long enough, you know the second scenario. And here's how it goes. Room 1 is still you. It's all your senses. It's how you feel. It's you living there. It's you sitting there listening. Room 2, your body, is now seen as something that you can greatly change and affect. There's so much information that hides, that now is being revealed about how your body has some kind of an intelligence, a smart body, that not only can you tap into to find out how it's doing, but also it can give you information about perhaps things that only would be discovered later when you have a disease. In the first scenario, if you got a disease, you realize you didn't know it. In the first scenario, you could know that if you had a disease and it was racing through your body and that all the alarm bells were going off and white blood corpuscles were racing to scenes and sirens were going off and you're just going to lunch as usual. It's only when something hurts that you go to the doctor. Scenario 2, your body starts to give you information because you now know how to measure it. You also find out that things in your consciousness affect that which is your health. You find out that even the inherited biology from those which your parents and before, perhaps even past lives, can affect that which is number 2, that room number 2. That's where your body is. That's amazing. Amazing. Now you're able to not only sense it, but have control. You might say, in some ways, you can diagnose many things. Now, it doesn't replace the doctor. Because when you're in an auto accident, it doesn't help you to be in touch with your body. That's when you need the doctor. But up until then, dear ones, you're finding out that you can work with your own health. You can ask your body to give you signs and signals of the kinds of food you need in order for it to be at its maximum based upon your inheritance. You'll find out what subconscious programs that you might have. And your body is there. And it's there as a thing to work with you. And finally, you get the idea that you're not isolated. They're not two rooms that stand apart. How could it get better than that? Dear ones, this is what all these programs are about that I asked my partner to put together, and he has. And how to take something you didn't believe was even possible, and suddenly it is. There's reasons for these things so that more and more of you will realize it, and there will be books written that are not today about the reality of it, and someday this will be normal. The children will be taught that there is a way to get in touch with room number 2 and live longer. What could be better than that? Let me give you scenario number 3. You sit there, dear ones, as you always have. Box 1 is the same. Except that box 1 is now fully and completely aware that it can change box 2. Not simply work with it for better health, but change it. Oh, there's more. Changing it could mean that it can change it so it will never, ever be susceptible to the diseases it might have gotten in scenario 2. The awareness, the ability to change box 2 so that you might live twice as long, that your consciousness is now fine-tuned to change the chemistry of box 2 so you wouldn't even recognize it in scenario 1 or 2. Box 2 is now at the beck and call of box 1. But there's more. You assign something in scenario 2 called a smart body. It's used for many things. Kinesiology, of course, that is the muscle testing. Many kinds of processes where you actually talk to the body and it talks back. This is like having a telephone to box 2. But scenario 3, you find the door to box 2 and you open it up and go inside. And that's what I want to tell you that you don't know yet. In box 2, there isn't just a smart body. There isn't just the intelligence that you would use to muscle test. There's the biological you represented in your DNA that loves you. Box 2 has been begging for you to open the door. Box 2 has had its arms outstretched, saying, "When will you find me? I am part of you. I've always been part of you. Why do you separate the consciousness and your brain from what you think are autonomous systems that work by themselves?" Well, they only work by themselves because they're designed to. But if you had control, if you walked through the door, you could manipulate them. You can tell them they're beautiful. You could love them. And you're going to last a whole lot longer because when you open the door, love will pour in to box 2. I just gave you the future of humanity. That's coming. Dear ones, there's so much that you're going to learn. Beyond just the fact that you can affect your own health by how you think. When you find out you can open a door and fall in love with yourself, that your body will start changing and things will start repairing themselves simply because you opened the door. What if I told you something absolutely outrageous? Ready? You'll be able to grow back limbs someday. You realize that other animals or amphibians or whatever, they can do it. What's the difference, do you think? Biologically, what is it that keeps this from happening with a human being? Well, you'll find out. That's scenario 3. This is all coming. But the basis of it is this. First, peace on earth. Then you can fall in love with your own body and open the door. I would not tell you these things unless they're in the field for the future, unless I have seen them before in other places, with other societies. This is and has always been your legacy, where you will go with it and what will happen. And doctors, instead of the doctors of the kind you see today, there will still be doctors. And what they're going to do is to carefully show you how to open the door and work with the chemistry that's always been yours to work with. Different kind of doctor, but you still need them. Blessed, dear ones, are those physicians of the planet who care so much about the human being that eventually they'll change their training, they'll change what they do and how they do it to better accomplish what they set out for in their lives, to help others. I'm crying in love with humanity. It's coming. And so it is.
And with that beautiful message from Kryon,